Alright, we've got a quick video today looking at editing sketches when you're working in a 3D plane. So first thing I wanted to note was when you're in SolidWorks, if your shapes are gray like this, also you can rotate by clicking the center scroll wheel down and then moving your mouse. If your shapes are gray like this, that means you're in a view only mode. So in the same way that Google Docs has view only or editing, in SolidWorks, when it's view only, it turns gray and you can't make any changes to it. So I can't smart dimension, I can't move these shapes. They're just in view only. Okay, so to get back into editing, if you go to your left toolbar over here on the feature design tree, find which sketch you're working on, and you can tell what you're going to select by what turns orange. Okay, so when I put my mouse over sketch 1, these shapes turn orange, so that's how I know that I'm working with this sketch. When I click on it, left click, there's going to be a little box that pops up, and this is where I can get back into editing. So if I click this box right here, I can go back into editing my sketch. Now you notice I had it rotated before. Whenever you're working in 2D, you always want to be working on a flat plane. So the easiest way to do that is to hit Control 8 on your keyboard, and that will rotate your drawing back so that you're looking at it completely flat. Alright, so some editing tools that you can use. The first thing that I want to look at is the colors in SolidWorks. So a dark blue line is kind of the default. When I put my mouse over it, it turns orange. So this is how I know what I'm clicking on. Okay, when there's just one circle there, it's easier to tell. But if I had a couple other shapes mixed in around this, like that, this is where the orange line comes in helpful, so I can see exactly what I'm selecting. So in this case, I'm selecting the line. In this case, I'm just selecting this very corner point. In this case, I'm selecting the circle. And then once you find whatever you want to select, when you click on it, it's going to turn light blue. Okay, and that's how you know you have it selected. So if you're having trouble when you're working, check and look and see what is highlighted in light blue, and that might be what's causing part of the problem. So if you only want to have this circle selected, then make sure that's the only thing that is light blue. And then the other thing you can do is if you hold the control key, you can select multiple shapes if you want to move things at the same time or do smart dimensions between things or something. Okay, next thing to note is these little green boxes. So the green boxes on here show relationships between the lines. So this line, for example, has this little vertical green box by it, and that means that this line can only go up and down. Okay, I'll draw another line here to show you what I mean. Okay, so I can move this line around, but I can't make it do anything that would make it not be vertical anymore. Okay, if I delete that little green box, so if you can click on it, again it turns light blue, hit delete. Okay, now I can move that line to an angle if I want. Okay, so if you get stuck when you're working on something and a line or a shape is not moving how you want it to, look at these little green boxes and see if it's constrained by something like that. Okay, these show a coincidence, which is where two things intersect, and there's lots of different ones. I'm not going to go through them all, but that's what those little green shapes are. Okay, last thing is selecting and deleting shapes. So the first thing is Control Z will undo what you just did. Okay, so that can be pretty helpful. Now you want to be careful because you can't redo it once you undo it, but undoing can be helpful to use. The next thing is deleting shapes. So in order to delete a shape, you have to be using just your plain cursor. Okay, if it has a symbol underneath of it, like the pencil with the circle tool, or the smart dimension tool, or rectangle tool, then you're not going to be able to select shapes, and it's just going to keep drawing other shapes, and then it's going to get confusing, and that's not what we want. Okay, so you need to have the plane cursor when you're going to delete something. And then to delete it, you just select it, and it should turn light blue, and then you can hit the delete key on your keyboard. Okay, now, not the backspace key. The delete key is above the left arrow key. So if you hit the backspace key, it's not going to do anything. You have to hit the actual delete key on your keyboard. And then last thing for this video is selecting multiple things. So if you click and drag, that will make a blue box if you drag to the right, and that will select everything that gets completely covered by the box. So if I don't completely cover this circle, then it's not going to select it. Okay, so in this example, it'll select the left circle, but not the right. Okay, if you go the other way, so from right to left, then it will select anything that it touches. So anything that touches this green box will get selected, and anything that doesn't touch the green box won't. Okay, so that can be a fast way to delete things. If you put a bunch of lines in on accident, just zoom out, highlight everything, and then you can delete them.